Hi everybody, welcome to Storytime with Miss Valadez. The book that we are reading today is called The Field Beyond the Outfield. And this book is really fun because it talks about a boy who is afraid of monsters. And so in order to forget that he's afraid of monsters, he goes and he tries something new, like baseball. And the story goes a little deeper into his fear and talks about what he does to forget about the fact that he's afraid of monsters. And I want to come back and talk about it when we are all done so that we can really go into detail about what happened in this book. So let's go ahead and get started and we'll come back and we'll talk about it. The Field Beyond the Outfield. When Ludlow Gribb began to complain about the monsters in his closet, and the sharks that swam by outside every time it rained, his parents decided that he needed something real to think about. So they signed him up to play baseball. Ludlow put all of his energy into learning the game. He watched the pitches and counted the strikes and hardly thought about monsters at all. And when he finally got a chance to play outfield for the Oswald County Hornets, Ludlow was ready. A good ball player is always ready. They told him to play back far, far back to where the weeds got scraggly and the other players looked small as ants. He was so far back, he was almost out of the outfield and into another field altogether. Where another game of baseball was in progress, and in a towering stadium topped with pennants and filled with monsters of various types. It was just what Ludlow had feared might happen. But he reminded himself that a good ball player must always keep his mind on the game. So he watched the pitches and counted the strikes, and when the other fielder asked if he could hit, he told him that, in fact, he could. When the inning changed, Ludlow was whisked off to try his luck swinging the bat. The monsters in the stands became quiet when Ludlow stepped up to the plate. His stomach growled and his legs felt weak. So he did what all good ball players do. He tipped his hat and tapped his shoes and grinned a big league grin. The pitcher threw a fastball with one hand and a curveball with another. But Ludlow saw the knuckleball coming, and he swatted it out of the park. It seemed like the cheering would never stop. But Ludlow had his own game to get back to. and night was coming on. His parents smiled at him when he came in from the field. "You'll get more action next time," said his father. That night, Ludlow went to bed without complaining, and the monsters in his closet didn't bother him at all. He was ready for what the next day would bring. A good ball player is always ready. The end. Hi everybody, we are back from reading our story, and I want to talk about what happened in the book for just a minute. I think that it was really interesting that Ludlow was able to play in the baseball game, but in the end, he ended up playing with the monsters and didn't really get very much playing time with the other humans. What do you think about that? Is that something that he made up completely in his head? Was that something that helped him get over his fear? What exactly happened in the story? I like the fact, and I like to see it as a way for him to be a good sport. So not only was he being a good sport about the fact that he didn't get much playing time in his real game with his baseball league, but he also was being a good sport when he was playing with the monsters. He did make a home run in his imagination, but he also was able to get over his fear of monsters and feel like, hey, you know what? It's not so bad. I think I can do this. So when he went home that night, it was a lot easier for him to not really think about monsters as a negative thing, but instead to make them seem as if they were part of his baseball game. I want to ask you, is there something that you're afraid of or that you feel kind of uncomfortable with sometimes? I like to think that those fears and those things that we have going on at home are things that are not that important. They're things that are, we can get over. Things that if we think about it the way that Ludlow thought about it, maybe there's a possibility that we'll be able to face that fear. And instead of monsters, because we know that monsters aren't real, we'll be able to make up a whole story in our imagination about how we get to play baseball with them, just like Ludlow did. I thought it was very fun, and I'm really looking forward to hearing what you have to say about it. Tomorrow we're going to have a brand new story time, and I'm very excited for that one because I feel like it's going to be a fantastic story for all of us to dive into together. So please stay tuned, and I will see you all then. Have a great day. Bye.